the November 8th edition. This program is a program that we all are interested in because it helps to build up family relationship and to strengthen the family according to God's divine plan. Today we will be discussing releasing your arrows into the world. At this time, I'm going to turn to my co-host, my sweetheart, Pastor Christopher Stevens. Will you please start the discussion?
Again, I want to welcome all of you in the United States and around the world to the Family Talk program. Today we're talking about releasing arrows into the world. What do we mean by arrows? A-R-R-O-W. Yes, arrows. Like a bow and arrow. They'll look at it. They'll look at the Bible, what the Bible says about arrows in Psalm 127. Psalm 127. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is his reward. Like arrows, that's our word. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. Happy is the man who has his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but shall speak with the enemies in the gate. So the Bible says, children are like arrows. There comes a time that we all are excited when we have our children and they are very little and they're all looking up to us and dependent on us, and we take care of them, we look after them. But the time comes that those children, as arrows, they must be released from our hands into the world. Because the Bible said they are like arrows, and you don't keep arrow on the bow. At a particular time, the arrow or arrows must be released. But what we want to talk on this program today, there is a problem in releasing the arrows. Because when the children, stay with you, you nurture them and you build a relationship, it comes a time where it's so difficult for that separation. Because you see, when you're releasing the arrow leaves your hand and it goes. And the time comes that the arrow or the young adult or the adolescent must be released into the world, whether the first time your son or daughter is going to live on campus, or your son or daughter is having a sleepover with some relative, or the child have to go, for work to another country, or maybe your teenager for the first time went to a high school party. It is after hours. He hasn't or she hasn't returned. And you call them, they're not picking up the phone, and you're wondering what's going on, they're not updating you. So it tends to worry the parents. So that separation, when the child is beginning to live from under your nest, under your roof, it brings a lot of worry to some parents. And some parents, especially the mothers, they have sleepless nights. They really don't sleep because when the children begin to reach that age, what happens now? They begin to fight for independence. They no longer is dependent on the parent to make the choice for them. And the parent may not realize. So the whole program is for us to realize the balance and the timing and the transition. Because for the child or the young adult, okay, he or she may no longer want the parent to just be, you need to do this or you need to do that. The young adult, or the adolescent or the young adult now feels that they are probably a man or a woman and they need to make their own decisions. And so there can be a conflict if the mother or the parents don't realize this transition in their life and in the child's life or in the young adult life. Because all along they've been living under your roof now, and now it's time for them to leave. So they start staying a lot longer. And especially if your daughter or son is going or dating another person that you really don't have any idea, but you don't even know this person who your daughter or your son is dating. It creates fear, you see. And now the daughter and the son doesn't understand the parent's side. I'm a big girl, I'm a big boy. Why do you worry about me? You see, now they're trying to free themselves from your nest. And you must be very smart and realize that it's a timing. And as a parent now, you still try to hold on and they try to release themselves so they can be comfortable. Sometimes we look at it, the parents, as the child is rebelling, the child is being disrespectful. It's because the child wants to break up from the nest. And you must realize that you can no longer hold a child in your lap, in your hands, and be shaking them. They'll be embarrassed for their friends. Oh, you still baby. So parents must be sensitive to the timing when the child is leaving the nest. Because if we are not sensitive to the timing, we will consider the child to be rebellious, we consider the child to be disrespectful, or to be rude, or the child may look at it, the child may not see it from the parent's point of view. So why my mother want to treat me this way, or my father treat I see as a child. So the whole program is to understand. For those of you who have others already released, you're not having the problem, that's okay. But those of you who have your kids right now, they're only your nest in everything, you know where they are, who their friends are. But will come a time they bring friends in that you really do not approve of, and you gotta be very careful how you handle that. But the time is right, or there is a time that we parents must be sensitive to let the children go from out of our grip. That's why the Bible says, for this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave. Because sometimes the people really don't want to leave yet, they still want to hang on to the parents but the Bible says, like arrows, they must be released. So as parents, if you are up there and listening to this program, we want you to know there's a time in the child's life you must let him or her go from your hands.
Amen. Sometimes it becomes so difficult, but emotionally, we just have to let go, because it's God's word. The arrow has to be let out. At this time, we'll be asking, why should parents be willing to release their children into the world, although they have genuine concern of what might happen to them?
That is true. The parents have genuine concern of what might happen to their daughter or their son. But the son and daughter really doesn't understand that the concern of the parent is genuine. They watch you growing up, you were completely helpless, and now you are a young adult. And they are concerned because they perceive the world to be very dangerous, because they have lived and they have experienced it. But for the young adult, that is ready to go and explore the world, they don't see it that way. They're excited to go on the adventure, but the parent is very cautious. Nevertheless, as the Bible says, they must be released. Because releasing the child into the world, in as much you may have concern that the world is evil, is wicked, is very dangerous, and the child may make mistake that they may not be able to recover from, you have to let him go. Because there are some lessons you just can't learn just by being on your parents, but say, don't do this. They don't understand. And most of the time, especially in the 21st century, with all the technology, the children, they're learning so many things about the parents, they're not going to listen to what the parents say until they experience it. So it's very good and it's wise to allow the child, or whether the daughter or the son, to go or to be with that person. Because if you say, this is wrong, this is bad, they feel that you're imposing on them. If you tell them, say, look, you need to get into school and take care of, and make your life better, they're not going to understand that. Because if you I get a job right now, I get money right now, they will take care of my needs right now. But they're not looking at the long-term investment. So they think that you want to stop them from getting riding your car, living a better life. And so if you don't release them and let them go and try, they feel like you're blocking them, you're imposing your will on them. So you have to let them go. Like the Bible talk about the prodigal son in Luke chapter 15 or so. The man had to let his son go. The son said, I need my right now. I need to go. The father said, hey, my son, I got everything. He said, I need to go. You have to let him go and give them up to God. It's a hard thing for a parent to do, but you have to let him go. Because if you let him go, they can't learn the lessons that they need to learn outside. So that's why it's good to let them go. And that also will help them to mature. All right? It will help them to mature and stop being a baby. Because if you let them just stay on your roll and you don't let them go, they will always be your baby. You have to let them go to experience it. Even though it's very risky, very dangerous over there, and they have to experience it and they're going to learn it and also going to help them to mature and become independent. That's why we should release our children and not continue to hold on to them if they want to go.
And this is when faith comes in. We're always talking about faith. So we also have to trust God for our children. We have to have that faith and know that God going to direct their path. You got to keep praying, but you got to let go. It's a difficult thing. It sounds easy, but it's difficult. You see your child growing up, and after you yourself have exploited the word, and you have concluded that the world is evil out there, the child is not going to think like you. So we got to use all the faith we have we have to release them. It's a hard thing, but trusting God will bring peace, peace of mind. So with that, we come to the third question, which says, how will you approach a son or daughter who is dating a person that you may have reservation for?
All right, this is a very common problem, because again the parent is concerned, but the child may not understand that it's out of concern and for the protection that you are concerned. The thing that you want to limit them, you want to tell them who to date and who not to date. And so the best way to approach it, especially if the child is still under your roof. If the child has left the home, it's different. But if they're under your roof, you must use wisdom and time, because first of all, you must respect that they are young adults. You can't talk to them the way you used to talk to them when they were little. And you can't treat them the way you used to treat them when they were little. So respectfully, you must offer suggestions, especially if they're under your roof. You must offer suggestions. So look, this person that you're dating, I'm not saying you, who to choose, but I'd like to offer you some guidelines that will help you, because you haven't experienced this thing yet, and so these are the guidelines, and in the 21st century, my experience has been, as you talk with it, In fact, if they have a cell phone, they'll be on the cell phone looking at it. Why are you talking? Because their mouth already feel what I mean. I have to say, you're wasting my time. So, but again, you have the responsibility to offer the counsel, especially if they're still under your roof. If they're still under your roof, you got to do it respectfully. You can't do it, authoritatively, because they are grown, they are young adults. So you have to treat them with respect, and use wisdom and tact, and say, look, come here, let's talk about this. Maybe you offer to go for, for dinner, or maybe, or coffee or soda or whatever, and talk about, they may not accept it, but just offer it. You're not imposing on them, but just, offer it, they may take it or leave it, but eventually they will realize what you're saying. So always be willing as a father, even if they don't ask for it, it's your responsibility to offer, even if they refuse it, especially if they still living on your roof.
Yes, and with that, you also have to be doing such a thing prayerfully. Yeah. Because most of the time, we all went through certain things, until we saw it for ourselves, and God brought us through. So you have to be having that same prayerful mind, but you cannot leave it all to them. You still have the responsibility as a parent to speak to them in a way like you are giving an opinion, you're not opposed, you're not trying to project. Impose on them. You are not doing that, just giving an opinion. And they can be looking out for that. And sometimes you realize, oh, my parent just said that. So again, we always have to be praying. We have to let the arrow go. Next question is, does a parent have the right to counsel a young adult who the parent thinks need a counsel?
Yes, again, the child will always be the child. The problem is, I think it's just interwoven with the first question, that was asked, the parent has the right, to counsel, especially if the young adult is still under the roof of the parents. It's different when the child decides to go live to live on his or her own, then they're by themselves, If they call you or text you and say, look, I got a problem, can you, help me with this, then you can do that. But if they're under your roof and you see that things are not going the way it should go in their lives, and they don't want to be open up to you, you still have to find ways to connect with that child. Because there are some children, you have to understand children, they are different. All the children are not the same. You cannot treat all your children. That's another topic and another discussion. But you cannot treat all your children the same. But they are different. Some of them communicate by text, some of them by conversation or whatever it is, but you have to find a way to be able to connect to that, young adult to be able to, to offer guidance. Because you see, the thing is, they always think that they know it all. And we all were once like that. We felt that we're smarter than our parents until we realized that we were not really smarter than our parents. So we should always, as adults or parents, be willing to offer advice if they ask for it or not. We got to build relationship, and build our bridge, be able to reach to them, Because there's some things will be going on in the life, they may not tell you. So you got to know how to connect. Oh, I see you feel looking in the down. What happened? Is everything all right? You have to find a way to to get them to talk. If you don't do that, you lose them. So as long as you're under your roof, find a way to connect. You have to steady your child, know what they like, whatever it is, and build that bridge and then get to them.
Again, you have your kids, you have your children, no matter what, you know them more than any other person out there. So you cannot just leave them like that. I've talked to this one now. He or she is out there. I'm not going to bother myself. You still got to find a way. Even if a child is difficult, being a parent, you know when to come in and then try to bring out some of those things. And no matter what they're going to give in, you better know that you are a parent. And they'll just be like, oh, mama, daddy, I didn't want to say anything, but since you came, there's a way out. Even if the child is difficult, there's a way out. So what should be the approach of a parent or a young adult who does not leave home and stand on his or her own?
All right, again, this is a very important question. The question is, what happens to a child who doesn't want to leave home and be on his or her own? What should be the approach? Again, we'll go to the Bible. We are not meant to be under our parents all the days of our lives. Again, we'll go back to the Psalm 127. Our children are like arrows that must be released. You cannot keep the child under your roof all the days of your life. You're not helping that child, and you're not helping yourself. We go back to the Bible. Even God, our Father, there's an illustration in the Bible. I think in Jeremiah, one of the books. I can't remember one of the books. But God gave an illustration like an eagle. The eagle flies so high, it takes the eaglets high up, high mountain. And because the eagle knows that the eaglet is little, it cannot fetch food for itself. So the eagle gathers food and keep carrying to the nest in a high altitude where it lives, make a nest, and continue to feed the eaglets. And after a certain time, what happens? The eagle will come and stir up the nest. What is the eagle doing? Because the eaglet now is so comfortable in the nest, it doesn't want to go. It wants to learn how to fly. So the eagle stir the nest, and then the nest, everything, the comfort will be in a disarray, everything will be destroyed, and then the eaglet will begin to fall. And the eagle will fly on it and make sure that it doesn't get hurt. Why? Because you try to teach the eaglet to fly. And after a certain time, if the eagle see that the eaglet is not making any attempt to fly, the eagle stretches its wing, collect the eaglet, and take it way back up and begin to nest it. And they go through that process until the eaglet learns to fly. It's the same way when your children are under you in the house. You must make a way for them to go. For example, one of the ways is that maybe if they're working, they're just buying clothes, buying this one, buying car, cost 45,000, buying that one, buying that one. And, they don't know about paying bills. They don't know about paying, mortgages. They don't know, if you live the part of where they pay mortgage or anything. So the child is making money, but there's nothing can show everything just for himself or herself. So what you do? You start bringing that child to pay some bills. Or you have to pay this amount. What do? You teach it. Now you are being wicked, but you're teaching the child to be responsible. Because if you don't teach the child that you gotta pay bills, you gotta pay for this. You just teach the child where everything is just my clothes and what I wear and what I eat is just myself. What are you doing? You are destroying a child. You're not letting the child know, look, the country you live in, you have to pay bills. Or if you somewhere part of the world, maybe you're not paying bills as in the West, or but the child has to learn to be responsible, to be able to take care of maybe another young sibling that is behind them. So the child has to learn to work. You can't just be giving them money all the time. There's a time where they completely happy because they're on the age, they can work, they can't do anything. But you have to teach them the dignity of labor. You have to teach them to be responsible. And sometimes they're so used to getting everything free and they won't make any effort to try to help them. So if you allow them to have that kind of attitude, you will make them very irresponsible. So at times, they will look at you to be very bad. God does the same thing with us. In our lives, sometimes that things happen in our lives. God stirred the nest, so you have to stir the nest. The house is like a nest that your children are living on. If you don't make some rules and make some guidelines, the children will not know what it means to be responsible, how to obey authorities. Because if they can't obey you, if they can't follow rules in your house, how will they be able to follow rules in government? How will they be able to follow rules in society? Because in the house they saw that they never saw any model in the house. So it starts from the house. So if the child is under you in your house, especially, there's another point, maybe I don't know why you bring that up, but especially because again, remember they're no longer children, they are young adults. They want to have the freedom, but they want to have the freedom on your roof. How can you have a freedom on liberty, 100% liberty on somebody's roof? You're not paying the bills, but you want to decide how things should be done. You see that? And because of that, there are a lot of conflicts, great conflicts in families, because you hear the young adult, shouting, you don't care for me, you don't love me. No, because I'm trying to make you responsible. And he said, I don't love you. You don't want to go out and find a place to live for yourself, but he said, want to be under my roof and tell me how things should be done in my house. You see, so it is part of the training, like the eagle, and God represents the eagle. God allows us to go. That's why we learn a lot from our sufferings, from our difficulties, and the persecution that we go through. But if you allow the child to just have everything he wants, and everything she wants, and anytime you want it, and you don't teach the dignity of labor, how to earn things, you teach them wrongly. And so to just make the answer short to this question, is our responsibility. Son, are you in school? You have age now. You haven't gone to college. You need to go register for the entrance exam. You need to go to the college. Okay, if you don't want to go to college, you just can't let them sit there. Especially there are some parents who they are so wealthy, they don't want for the children to suffer, so they give the children their body confident, put gas there, put the insurance, do everything. And now they wonder why the child is hooked up on drugs. Because what? They had everything easy. They never show that child to be responsible. So it's our responsibility not to just, give the child everything in the child. There must be a time they got to start withholding those things. And then quickly, my wife, before I end this particular part. Look at the children of Israel. There were 40 years. God sent down manna. They never had to work in the wilderness. God sent down manna. And so Israel, like the child of God. God said, my firstborn son. God killed the firstborn of Pharaoh's children and all the firstborn in Egypt. And God said, Israel, my firstborn. And so for 40 years, God sent them money. They never had to work. Their shoes, they wore everything, their clothes, God took them for 40 years. But when they entered Canaan, the manna started flowing. Because you got to go fight to get it. These people in the land. So you can't just give a child everything for as long as he is in the house or she is in the house. You must teach them how to earn, how to be responsible. If you don't do that, you're not serving your child well.
Yes. So with that, as the child want to try to go out to be on their own, as a parent you be worried, but you got to let them go again. If things don't work out, they can always come back.
Yes.
And get additional training.
Yes.
Additional encouragement.
Yes.
That will make them stronger, because all the kids not the same. Some just go and that's it. When they come, they just can go pay a visit and life moves on. But other people have to keep trying. So with that, you got to encourage, pray for them. You can't be afraid. So we come to our closing, and it's our prayer that all of us who have kids and raising other kids, that is our prayer for us to be reminded that there will be a time these kids will have to leave, and all those beautiful prayers will have effect on them. As we trust God, as we have that faith, we got to release. So we come to this closing by praying. Our Father and our God, we bless you this evening. We thank you for this wonderful opportunity. We thank you, Lord, that we are back on this program. We thank you for being in charge. We pray for parents, families out there who are worried about their kids. Some of the kids are eating with so much problems. And you're able to relieve them, Father, that will be used for the intended purpose, for the intended reason that we're born in this life. Then we pray for parents that have no strength to pray. And for them to know that God is able to take care of those kids. God is able to change the bad habits and make them to be women, men they were intended for. Now we bless you and thank you again.